In today's keyboard review, I've got potentially one of the most visually unique looking keyboards I've ever had the pleasure of reviewing. From its eye-catching Alice layout to its vibrant keycaps, its innovative silent switches to its LCD screen, this keyboard is packed with personality. Join me as we find out whether Cidoo's ABM066's performance matches up with its crazy aesthetic. As always, let's check out the unboxing at this point. The box features a playful blue and white space cat theme, offering a unique hint at what's in store. Getting it open, the first thing we're presented with is the user manual. For accessories, you get a braided USB-A to USB-C cable and then a standard keycap and switch puller. The unboxing experience unfortunately doesn't offer anything particularly noteworthy. It could have been enhanced by the inclusion of some spare switches or keycaps, which would have been useful for customizing the shortcut keys. Epomaker were kind enough to send me out this silicone ergonomic wrist rest from Cidoo to pair with the keyboard. Stay tuned to find out whether I recommend throwing one of these into your order. Before we dive into this keyboard, I'm going to outline some of the features of the ABM066. The ABM066 comes in at $80.99 pre-built or $59.99 bare bones on epomaker.com. It's got an Alice layout with 67 keys and a knob. It features tri-mode connectivity, meaning you can connect via Bluetooth, 2.4 GHz or wired. It's got a pretty cool TFT LCD screen, and this keyboard has a 3000 mAh battery. Okay, so the elephant in the room for anyone not so versed on their keyboards is the layout of the ABM. This is called the Alice layout, and as you can see, it splits the keyboard in half with two smaller space bars as well as B keys on either side for both of your thumbs. The keys are angled toward the user in the name of ergonomics, in theory, resulting in more of a comfortable typing experience, though one that comes with a bit of a learning curve. The aesthetic of this keyboard is undeniably eye-catching, with a design that's sure to evoke strong opinions. It's the kind of keyboard that will either win the hearts or divide opinions fairly sharply. For me, it might be a novelty pick with its layout and keycap theme that I might want to reach for when I want to mix things up. When it comes to the build quality, the ABM is constructed from an ABS plastic, which unfortunately leaves it on the flimsier side compared to other keyboards I've tested. It's remarkably lightweight and exhibits noticeable flex, which might be a concern for some users. The knob positioned in the top right corner of the keyboard serves a singular purpose: volume control. Okay, moving over to the back edge of the board, you'll find the USB-C port as well as a connection mode switch toggle. You'll notice the 2.4 GHz option, but with no sign of the dongle. That's because it's tucked away intelligently underneath the right foot. Speaking of which, the ABM offers two levels of height adjustable feet, providing users with ample flexibility to find their preferred typing angle for optimal comfort. Flipping back over to the surface, this keyboard has a small LCD screen. It shows some useful information like the date and time as well as the connection mode you're currently using. From the factory, my date was incorrect, however Cidoo do provide a software for customizing the screen, and upon installing it and opening it, the info corrected itself. I'll have this software linked in the description. The program itself is, well, awful looking. It gets the job done, but you're going to be glad when it comes time to close it. You can upload an image or animation, so I thought it would only be fitting to upload this cat gif. Overall, the inclusion of the screen is a nice touch, adding another layer to the novelty aspect of the keyboard and enhancing its overall appeal. The ABM is also VIA compatible. VIA is an open source keyboard customization software. It's got a very intuitive UI compared to a lot of dedicated software that ships with keyboards these days. With its robust functionality, VIA enables users to remap keys, create macros, adjust lighting configurations and more, providing a comprehensive suite of customization options tailored to the individual keyboard model. On the surface of the keyboard, you'll see this circular, I guess Cidoo logo LED, which can be customized to suit your style. Speaking of which, the ABM is equipped with all the RGB bells and whistles, allowing users to easily toggle between lighting presets or customize them to their liking using the VIA software as mentioned earlier. For those who prefer a more minimalistic setup, rest assured you can disable the RGB lighting altogether. I want to talk about the battery for a second. Rated at just 3000 mAh, I really would have expected more from Cidoo here, especially considering the power demands of the full RGB lighting, an additional RGB logo, and most notably the LCD screen, all of which can significantly drain the battery in wireless mode. Okay, let's turn our attention to these keycaps. So they're Dysub PBT in the MDA profile. They have a great thickness, which is something I always like to point out. This often reduces how hollow your typing will sound. These cat themed keycaps are sure to capture the hearts of the feline enthusiasts out there. Digging a layer deeper, we encounter Cidoo's silent blue switches. These pre-lube linear switches offer a feather light operating force of 37 grams, making them an exceptionally light and smooth option for typing enthusiasts. My preference lies towards a lighter switch, so I enjoyed the lack of force required to operate these. While the silent blue switches live up to their name in terms of quietness, I must admit that in my experience they do tend to feel somewhat mushy. As a keyboard enthusiast who thrives on the satisfying sound of a keyboard, I didn't quite find myself feeling rewarded with the muted tones of these silent switches. For instance, I scripted this entire video using the ABM, and while undeniably comfortable to use, I didn't feel compelled to continue using it beyond this task. The ABM features a gasket mounting system, and I can attest to the level of bounce this provides to the keyboard. The wrist rest I mentioned mentioned at the start of the video certainly added an extra level of comfort to my typing experience. However, I'm unsure about its impact on the overall aesthetic of my setup. Given this keyboard's 5-pin hot swappable, I decided to install a set of popular alternative switches, the Leobog Graywood V3s, and provide a sound test for you to compare. With the keycaps and switches out, we can see the south-facing LEDs. The ABM also has a polycarbonate plate with a lot of flex cuts aimed at providing an even, bouncy typing experience, which I can say it definitely does. Okay, it's finally time for the moment you've probably been waiting for. I'm about to play the sound test. After that, I'll share my final thoughts and recommendations. Okay, so if you have $90 to spare, I do believe the ABM066 would be a worthwhile novelty addition to your collection. However, it may not become your go-to daily driver. In my opinion, the best option would be to go for the bare bones kit priced at just $59.99. This way you can customize the keyboard to your liking by adding your preferred switches. Personally, I found that I had a much better typing experience with the Leobog Graywood switches. I'm conflicted as to whether it would be a good office keyboard. While its silent switches are ideal for office environments, its distinctive aesthetic might spark conversations you'd rather avoid. It ultimately depends on your office culture and personal preference. If you're keen to experiment with the Alice layout without significant financial investment, the ABM066 could be an appealing option. It offers a budget-friendly way to explore this layout's unique characteristics and see if it suits your typing style and preference. That concludes today's video. If you found it informative or dare I say entertaining, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this one. A massive thanks to epomaker for providing the tech featured in today's video. It's important to note that while they provided the products, my thoughts and overall opinions remain the same. And thank you for watching until the end. Check out my last video where I reviewed Monsgeek's M7, or if you're interested in another silent keyboard, check out my video on epomaker's RT100.